Rachel Siegel. I'm the Director of Strategic Programs at Illuminate. Welcome back to our Crown Jewel Conversation series. Thank you for joining us from all over. Illuminate is a catalyst for gender justice and social innovation. We invest in the leadership of Jewish women social entrepreneurs who are devoting their lives to tackling some of society's biggest issues affecting women and other marginalized communities in the United States, in Israel, and around the globe. We are building a global network of changemakers. Each year, we select 10 extraordinary Jewish women leaders. We call them jewels, Jewish entrepreneurial women executives and leaders, to take part in the collective. This cohort-based leadership advancement program fosters connections, encourages partnerships, provides resources, and a curriculum that is tailor-made to the needs of the leaders in the cohort. This enables the leaders to maximize their impact. Illuminate is also a philanthropic accelerator dedicated to educating women philanthropists on intentional and strategic giving, providing opportunities to learn about emergent social issues and leveraging communal dollars to make impactful investments in social change. Philanthropists of all financial capacities and level of experience are welcome to participate, no matter where they are physically located. We believe that the integration of activism and philanthropy is essential to creating social change. When you support Illuminate, you not only support 50 organizations run by phenomenal Jewish women, you are part of a movement. Together, we are advancing a deeply feminist response to global social challenges and creating a bright future for all of us. Our conversation today will allow you to get to know one of the incredible women in this movement. Esty Shushan is the founder and CEO of Nivcharot, a nonprofit organization that grew out of the Lo Nivcharot, Lo Bocharot movement, Hebrew for not elected, not electing. Esty, who is part of the ultra-Orthodox community in Israel, works to promote the status and rights of ultra-Orthodox women and their inclusion in political processes and positions of power. Esty is a lecturer, a media persona, a writer, artist, decorator, facilitator, and content creator. She has made several films which have been presented in Israel and abroad. She is currently working on a television show based on her personal story and her first poetry book, which is scheduled for publication. Esty has received numerous awards, including the Daphne London Yari Award for Feminist Social Activism, the Rappaport Prize for Groundbreaking Feminist Activism, and in 2020 was named one of the 20 most promising young Israelis of the next decade. If, like Esty and Illuminate, you believe in the importance of promoting all women's leadership, including ultra-Orthodox women, then you're in the right place today. After the conversation, we'll open the floor to questions. Please feel free to write them in the chat or hold on to them so that you can ask later on. For now, we're muting everyone in order to avoid background noise, but we encourage you to turn on your camera, eat lunch while you listen, and hear Esty's amazing story. Now I'm pleased to introduce the immediate past president of Illuminate, Rachel Weinstein.
Thank you, Rachel, and Shana Tova to everyone. I hope you're well, and I hope you had a meaningful holiday. So happy to be kicking off our new year and recommencing our Crown Jewel conversations. And welcome, Esty, Shana Tova. So excited to talk with you today. Let's jump right in. It's a busy time in Israel. There's so much to talk about, but let's go back a little bit to the beginning and learn a little bit more about you and your background and how you became an activist.
Okay, thank you, Rachel, and welcome. I'm very glad to be here with you. Thank you for the stage of Illuminate and for working together in those years. My name is Esty Shushan. I'm a mother of 4 children. I have a grandson 1 year old, and I grew up in Tzfat, in the north of Israel. That's the city that I was born and I grew up there. My father is a rabbi. I am the eldest child of 12 siblings. Very not a usual mishpacha family. I made a very usual way as all the Haredi women around me. I got married in 19. I became a mother at 20. And I was a mother of 4 children when I was 26. That's what made me now a young grandmother. I work in media, in the Haredi media. I started as a graphic designer in a newspaper in the north of Israel. And I understood that I need to write when I see that there is not enough content to fill the newspaper that I work in. So I started to write, like by accident. I started to write and I understood that I have power in my hands, that people read what I have to say. And even though I wrote under an anonymous name, people didn't know who is writing in this newspaper. They used to ask me, Esty, who is the writer in the newspaper and why he say that and why he say that. So I understood that I have power, and that's what made me to work after that in a big newspaper, big Haredi newspaper named Mishpacha. It's a newspaper that's all over Israel and also in US. And I have a weekly column in this newspaper. And I remember that in the first column that I wrote, the editor asked me, Esty, what is the name you want us to put in your column? And I told him, what do you mean? My name is Esty or Esther, that's my name. And he told me, no. If you will write under your real name, your first name, people will not take you seriously because you're a woman. If you want that people, men, especially men, will take your column seriously, it's better to drop your first name and to become Aleph. So I wrote some years under the name Aleph Shushan, and in the Hebrew language, because it's a gender language, you need always to play with the language that you will not sound like a man or a woman. So some years in my life, I have no gender at all. I wasn't a man, I wasn't a woman. So that situation, and additionally the fact that I needed to write every week, it made me to think about the life around me. It was some years before the social media, the Facebook, that now everybody can write and can have a voice. In those years, to have a column in a newspaper, it's like to have a power. But some years after, I understood that I have this power. It's not a real power because I write to not the real thing that I want to deal with. So I quit, and in those days there was some, it's before the Facebook time, it was like some forums in the internet, some internet platform that people can talk with themselves, and there was some Haredi groups, and it was the first time that Haredi people, men and women, can talk together under pseudonym names, and can talk about everything, the thing that they cannot talk in the Shulchan Shabbat or with their family or with their wife or husband. It was like a place, very safe place to speak, and especially for us, the Haredi women, it was the first opportunity to speak about all the issues that was only in our heads, and for me to meet at first time women that think like me, because until this time I was sure that maybe I'm crazy. So it was the first time to meet another woman and to speak with them and to understand that we have some problem to solve and we can do it together. That was the first time to meet them and to hear another stories from another close community. I came from a very Haredi strict community, but not as a Hasidic community or Gur Hasidic. And this platforms of internet gave me the opportunity to meet women from very close the group and to understand their challenges. And it was an evening in October 2012 that one of my friends shared with us a story about her bad experience in the Mehadrin bus. Mehadrin bus is the separated buses in Israel that women should sit in the back of the bus and men in the front. And she told us a bad experience there. And I told them, we have a problem, but we cannot solve the problem in the buses, in the streets, in the books that in those days, suddenly there is no women in the comics book, in the newspapers, in the children book. I grew up in the Haredi community, and in my books, in my childhood, there was women, there was mothers, there was girls, but in those days, women drop out. So I told them we cannot fix all of these issues. We need to come from the top. I was in this age about 10 years ago. I had enough chutzpah to do that and to think that and to say we need representation. It was some weeks before the elections, and I told them, no politician came to us to lie, to give us some lies of politicians. We are no one. Nobody talked to us as Haredi women. 70 years of Israel, of the state of Israel, no even one woman, Haredi woman, in the Knesset, in the municipalities. We are not really exist. So that was the point that I opened. I didn't have like a theory of change. I didn't have connections or money. I have my computer and me and some experience in copywriting and graphic design. And I opened a page in Facebook named Lo Nivcharot, Lo Bocharot. In Hebrew, it means not elected, not voting. And with a lot of chutzpah, I call to my friends, to Haredi women, to stop voting for parties that deny them to join, to be represented. And from this point, it's become by the years a movement like Nivcharot. Now we are Nivcharot. Nivcharot, it's like elected or chosen. It's a double meaning in Hebrew. So that is the background.
You know, I just listening to you tell your story, I'm struck by so many things. I mean, first of all, we had a crown jewel in May with Shoshana Keats Jaskell, who talked a lot about the erasure of women in the Orthodox community. And if anyone on this Zoom today didn't get a chance to catch that, it's worth going back to listen because it's really unfortunate. And, you know, I think both being here, those of us in the US and anyone who has the freedom to gather and talk liberally. I think we take for granted how liberating that these online platforms, this anonymity, these safe chat rooms could be to start movements, to start revolutions, to make real social change. So it's so interesting to hear that that's sort of how it all took off.
I just remember some years ago I had a talk with a group from leaders from US. And I speak about Facebook and how it's changed my life and the life of Haredi women. And a little woman from the crowd told me after that, I am Randy Zuckerberg. And I'm very proud to hear that my brother's work affected you in this way.
Yes.
So, yes.
Those of us who are posting pictures of our meals or our cats or our children, I mean, to hear really the power of these platforms in terms of, community organizing and social change, it's important. It's important for people to recognize. So, I'd love to do a little deeper dive into the work of Nivcharot. I mean, can you tell us about some of the programs that you're doing and where your focus is right now?
So the first activities that we made, that it was the understanding that we need more women. I was the first and the only woman. I had some in 2012. I had some friends in my back, but I understood that I need more women, and that's what led me to make the leadership program. It was some years, it was like a dream, something that I will do somehow and some in another times. But in 2019, no, in 2018, it became this dream became true, and we started this program. It's like our flagship program. 25 women every year come to Nivcharot and sit together and study together about feminism, about Judaism, and about the connection between Judaism and halacha law, the Jewish law, to feminism, and how you can be a feminist and still be Haredi, because sometimes I see women that in this conflict between feminism and Judaism, they need to choose, and this it's very hard to choose. And I think you don't need to choose. You don't need to throw out your family or your Masoret tradition. You can be Haredi, you can be Orthodox and still raise your voice and still work for your women around you. And that's what we are trying to do, to tell women that you can change the situation in your communities, in your families, and even the situation, the personal situation that you deal with. So this is the leadership program named Hanivcheret. Hanivcheret, it's like from Nivcharot, and from Lo Nivcharot. Hanivcheret, it's like again the chosen and the elected, and these meanings. Some of our women that was in this program became leaders in some place. Some of them run in municipalities. One of them ran to the Knesset, and we have now a group of volunteers, women, that make very significant work in the social media. We have TikTok channel, we have Instagram, and we are the first and the only voice of Haredi feminist women that can speak, can talk about all the issues, even taboo issues. For example, if there is a problem of a rabbi, like Rabbi Berland, I don't know if you know that person, but it's a rabbi that, sorry, a rabbi that made some sexual harassments to women in his community. So to deny him from a lot of activities that our politicians, the Haredi politicians, make collaboration with him. So we made campaigns against it, campaigns against Chaim Wilder, the writer and the author that also was made a sexual harassments for women, Haredi women. So our women was in the always in the front of these campaigns, in these struggles. Another channel of Nivcharot is lobbying. We have a program of women that go to the committees in the Knesset, sit there, and we are the only Haredi women there. There are a lot of Haredi men there. Not only the MKs, the Haredi MKs, the Haredi Chavrei Knesset, also their people, all their staff there. It's like to come to the yeshiva now, to come to the Knesset, the Israeli Knesset. So we are sitting there and women talk about all, a lot of issues that connected to our life and not only. And another channel of our activity is a legal channel. We have 2 petitions of 22 Haredi women that want to join the Haredi parties. Just a background, we have in Israel 2 Haredi parties, Shas and Yadut HaTorah. Both parties deny women to join, like they have no women in the Knesset members, and they have no women in the members of the party. So those 22 women from our community asked to join, just to be members in the parties. And of course, they refuse to give them the chance to be members. So we have 2 petitions against them. And I don't know, with this situation in Israel, with the Bagatz, with the Supreme Court, I don't know how it will end, but it's an interesting issue to understand the power of the Supreme Court now and the Knesset and all the conflict now in Israel that between those authorities.
Yeah. It's it's hard to hear that, that the majority that is in Israel, as we know, is not allowing for the voices of women, to be represented in these coalitions. It's really difficult to hear. And as I was saying to you when we were logging on here, many clergy this past Yom Kippur talked about the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War, which of course was external forces, right? It was the Egyptians and the Syrians, and sort of made the analogy about the ongoing war in Israel in this moment coming from within. And, so I would love for you to talk both about the relevance of your work in this moment, but also with all of these, this conversation about judicial reform, like, how does that play into your work? I mean, you sit in a very unique position within the Haredi community. So talk a little bit about that.
I think first of all, I feel in this time not not just in this time, but especially in this time, that we are kind of bridge between the Israeli society groups, because now it became you are with us or against us. And I feel that we as the Haredi women, Haredi Democrats, women that want and promote equality and all of this value, and still know our communities and appreciate our communities and want to stay there because we love this place. We love this community, not as a sentence of, it's really, we have in the Haredi communities, we have a lot of good values that I appreciate. So I can handle those values from all the side. And I feel that we can be the bridge. We can understand the both sides, the pain of the both sides. And maybe it's something that can bring, so I don't know the word in English, but maybe it's something good to be now, because we are in the middle. We are on the bridge now. Another thing is the understanding that nobody here in Israel are going anywhere. So we can come to visit you in US, and we should come back to Israel. And even you, as American Jewish people, you need us to be here in Israel. You need this state to be exist for a long time. So I understand that we cannot abandon the state. We cannot say, okay, this Haredi community, they are crazy. We can leave them. We can, I don't know what. We are here, and we have the responsibility to speak, to keep speaking about equality, about women's rights, about human rights in our communities. I feel that the situation in Israel is so hard now because there was a deal between the Israeli leadership to the Haredi leadership. And in this deal, they told them, like, do what you want with your community. We are not involved too much in your education system, in your women's rights and everything. And we can control together the state. And in this deal, we, the Haredi women, as a minority in minority, we fall down. We not exist in this because it's a deal between men. So in this situation, I feel a responsibility to keep speaking, to stay there, to keep join another women and to give them the opportunity to speak and to build a place, a safe place for women in the Haredi community, that they can keep their rights there. I think to abandon the Haredi women is to abandon the Haredi feminist women. It's to abandon the Israeli state, because unfortunately, I'm not happy to say that we are the only Haredi organization that speak loud about feminism, about equality, about all the things that we are speaking, that we should pay a very expensive prices to speak like that. But we are doing that. That's our mission. Yeah. So that's why I think we are relevant more than ever in this time.
I agree. And I think those of us who care about the state of Israel need to continue to support the leaders who share the values that we want to see represented there, whether they're progressive and more secular or whether they're working from within the more religious communities. So we appreciate the work that you're doing. Can you talk a little bit more about the price that you pay? I mean, what are some of the consequences that you face for speaking in this way?
About prices, I think that there is no time that you stop paying the process, because from the time you start to be activist, people always used to tell things about you. At first, I was the craziest woman in the community. Like maybe she will be good. She will be good in the future. After that, I was like very מסוכן. It was a dangerous woman.
Yes.
And now I feel that people can talk about it. And when I speak about people, I speak about people in the Haredi community. But it's like, maybe it will be in the future, but we don't know how many times it will take to do that. So I feel the change in the situation. I feel the change in the women that comes to Nivcharot. In the first, I can remember in the first cohort of Nivcharot, I asked them who defined herself as a feminist. Just make a step forward to who defined herself as a feminist. Nobody wants to do that. And now, 6 years after, come very young women like 22, 23. Some of them are mothers, because we are in Haredi community. Some of them are divorced women. And most of them, all of them, women that come to Nivcharot, are feminists, and they are not feel like ashamed to say that. They are very proud to say we are already feminist. It's an identity that they are very proud to adopt. And just yesterday, one of our activists told me, Nivcharot became like our family, because in our families, we cannot speak about a lot of things, and this is our place to speak. We have some platforms to speak, and even events and conferences that we make. So that's what keep me in these activities.
Amazing. I know that in 2021, there was a documentary released about your work. They've been following you for 5 years. I want to talk to you a little bit about that. But what I think we'd like to do now is share just the trailer for that film so people can get a taste of what that is and what your work is.
Go for it.
בסביבה שלי זה נתפס כרצון לצאת נגד הדת. חשבו שבאמת השתגעתי. אבל אני לא יכולה לשתוק יותר. יש פה קבוצה של 50% מהאוכלוסייה החרדית. היא צריכה להגיד כל הזמן שהכל בסדר, ותמיד עם חיוך על הפנים וסיר על הגז, אבל לא בסדר. אין לנו אף אישה חרדית שיושבת סביב אף שולחן של מקבלי החלטות.
ואני מרגיש, האמת, שמישהו שולח אתכם לפרק את החברה הישראלית.
אישה חרדית שלא מתביישת, לצאת נגד כל גדולי ישראל שהיא טוענת שהיא חלק מהם.
ממתי נהייתי לא חרדית אמיתית? מהרגע שהתחלתי לדבר על הנושאים האלה.
ב100 שנה לא הייתה אף מדינה שאישה יכלה להצביע. וברוך השם,
נשים נאבקו בזה, הרבנים קמו בבוקר ונתנו לנשים זכות הצבעה. אין בכלל לגיטימיות לשפוט את הקול שלי.
הגיע הזמן שאישה חרדית תהיה בפנים.
טוב, תקשיבי, פעילות היא מתחת לרדאר.
אין שום נציג חרדי שמייצג אותנו. אני מדברת איתכם על שכר, אני מדברת על פגיעות מיניות, אני מדברת על דברים שהם קריטיים.
If Haredi women dare to challenge the situation, they are exposed to threats and violence. We are here to complete the work of the suffragettes.
Wow. So incredibly powerful. And I know that's the documentary that was being made about you. And then I know you're also a filmmaker yourself, and that you're also making a film. And being someone who works in the performing arts and theater, I'd love to talk with you a little bit about, how you use these projects and art specifically to make social change.
First of all, arts give you just the opportunity to survive. When you become an activist, you need some place to rest and to make a process with the experience that you have in the political and social field. So for me, it's like to look at myself from outside, like I am a character, and to give what a challenge. And every time when I get a challenge and a bad situation, I ask myself, if you have this challenge to your character, it's make the story interesting. So it's not so bad. So it's helped me to overcome a lot of bad days in my life. So that was part it's a significant part in my life. In another way, I think art, it's the most beautiful way to reach people's hearts, because I can write a column in the newspaper and speak about everything and tell the people, it's not good, that's bad situation. But when I speak through the art language, it's another way to reach people. And I feel very lucky that I can use this channel of cinema and poetry and another ways to speak with people and to get them not so seriously when you do it like as a political activist.
Yeah. And I often find, art can serve two purposes. It can make the people who you're representing feel seen and make them feel that their voices are being heard and represented. And then obviously it can educate so many others who might have no idea of what that actual experience is. I know people were so interested. They're already asking about how they can watch the clip, and Rachel's sharing a few details in the chat, and we'll include those in an email follow-up also. But definitely, that was a very powerful trailer. So what's next for your organization? Where will you be placing your energy in the coming months or weeks or years?
So I see Nivcharot now, like we made the first decade of Nivcharot. We just finished the first decade of Nivcharot. It was like from scratch, a movement that became just from a crazy idea from my head, became like a real movement, women, volunteers, activities, and identity. That's the main thing, identity, that women can feel comfortable to identify themselves in this definition. So after the first decade, I'm looking for the second decade of Nivcharot and asking myself, so what now? Of course, we need more women. It's always more power and it's more powerful and very important to keep going. And it's not just an organization, it's an idea, it's a movement. And we need more and more women that will feel comfortable. Just want to emphasize that in our first days, women was very afraid to make like a selfie with me, or to make like, or it was frightened to be my friend. So when more and more women will feel comfortable, because now it's not only my face, it's another faces of Haredi women from various subgroups of Haredi people, from Hasidic, from Litvish and Mizrahi groups in the Haredi community. So as long as more women can join, it make our ideas more comfortable for a lot of women. So that's the first vision for the next decade. The another role that another step that I want to do in this decade is to take women from our community, women that they have the experience with people, and work with them and promote them to the Knesset. We cannot join to the Haredi party for now. I don't know what will the court will say and how much time it will take. So for the next decade, I speak with my friends in Nivcharot, and we understood that we want women, Haredi, feminist, liberal women in liberal parties in the Knesset. I think it's very important, first of all, a voice for us as a group, a big group in Israel that have no representation at all, that we will have women like us in the Knesset. And in another hand, it's opportunity to connect with the groups, because now you are Haredi, you are secular, it's like separated. No, we can work together. We have no conflicts between us as Haredi and secular. We can be Orthodox and secular, and still we have the same values that we appreciate. So I think it's a good way to start. It's another way to think about politics is to connect around values and not around groups or like we have now. And maybe it will fix something in the situation in Israel.
I love that idea around connecting around values. And I have this sort of fantasy. There are so many of you within our collective who are doing this feminist work in Israel. And I just imagine you as this army together, forging partnerships. And for those on this call who might not be familiar, like it's a perfect moment to go and just scroll through and look and watch some of the videos with our Israeli jewels, because they're so inspiring. And listening to how you talk about your work, I think about how it layers onto everyone else's, and it's this collective effort that's really going to make this change, I hope. So, with that in mind, I guess, I'll conclude, and then if anyone has questions, we can take them. How has being part of the collective impacted your leadership, and how have you leveraged the relationships that you've built there?
First of all, finally, I'm chosen. I'm elected to, there is a place that wants me a part of it. It was significant time for me, and maybe Rachel Siegel remember how I was excited to hear from her that I'm part from the group. It of course helped us with your support, with your financial support to give us the opportunity to keep working, to make more groups of Hanivcheret, of our leadership group, to increase our community, to raise our voice in the media, not only in the Israeli media, also abroad, and to be part from a group, from an organization that a lot of powerful women are there, and I can hear them and I can learn from them, from their work, from their challenges, and the opportunity to be in New York in June, it was June, the opportunity to meet everybody and to hear their problems, their challenges, to understand that people are people everywhere. And it gave me a lot of power and friends.
I'd love to hear that. In fact, I know some of those friends are on the Zoom with us today. And actually,
Hey,
Michal Gera Margalio, you wanted to say something, I think. Come and join us for a moment. Hi.
Thank you.
I just want to say
we've got both Michals, but it's the other Michal.
I knew Michal for long years ago, but we become friends just when we came to New York. So it was for us.
You're my friend before.
No,
maybe I wasn't
but
yours.
Not like after New York. New York, it was like a moment.
True. So I am from cohort 2, and I always love to hear Esty speak. I feel how amazing she is, how important is her work and Nivcharot's work, and I'm sure that you can all relate to that. And I wanted to say something about what's happening in Israel, because we have the protest now, which is extremely important. But most resources, financial resources, goes now to the protest. And one of the things that might happen is a death sentence to some of the organizations. And you heard the Esty, Nivcharot doesn't act on the core of the protest. They do really important things for on the long run, not only on the long run, but they're not like integrated into the protest. And I spoke to Esty, and a few weeks ago, they had maybe half of the annual budget. Now, the annual budget is less than $200,000 a year. I mean, it's such a poor organization as is. And I want to say that if Nivcharot will chas v'chalila get closed, it will take us 10 times more to build something similar, and it will take years and years to get to the same impact. And I wanted to say how important it is now to support Nivcharot. It can be, I'm saying that I was not sent by Esty. If you want to give $500, $1,000, $2,000, I don't know, whatever you can, whatever you feel is right. It's a crucial moment, and I urge you to do so. Thanks.
Thank you, Michal. And, I think it's really important that progressive philanthropists know that we also need to support the people working from within or within communities that we think don't align with our values. Because clearly, like you said, Esty, we have to align our values across our groups. And if the power of the collective was not just showcased in this moment right now by you coming to speak for your friend and colleague and fellow warrior on this great fight, then there's no greater way to speak about the power of the collective. So thank you so much, Michal.
Thanks, Michal.
I don't see any other questions, so I'm gonna say thank you, Esty, so much for sharing your story with us and your work. And we're so proud to be supporting what you're doing. I'm going to welcome Rachel Siegel back onto the screen with us to close us up.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for leading us in this conversation. And thank you, Esty, for taking the time to share your wisdom and extraordinary story with us. And really, it's been a real pleasure to have you in the collective. Sorry, I'm just kvelling over that. That moment was just so beautiful to see. We don't have to hope that things will be different when we have leaders like you to guide us. We actually can believe that change will happen. We're so inspired by Esty's leadership and her extraordinary story, and we hope that you are as well. If you've been here with us before, you know that we always like to share a few action items that you can take to do after we leave each other. Here are a few things that you can do today. Sign up for Nivcharot's newsletter. We'll put the link to Esty's website in our chat. And set up a screening of the Women of Valor film, which I shared the information earlier. We'll email you more out in follow-up. We'd also really like to invite you to attend the Convening Illuminate's annual conference on November 2nd. It will be both in New York in person and online. It is an opportunity to learn more about emergent issues impacting women, just like Esty, and to meet our current cohort members. It will be an amazing day. Please don't miss it. We'll put a link to register in the chat. We hope you will also save the date for our next Crown Jewel conversation on October 19th with Shahana McKinney-Balden, the founding executive director of Edot Midwest Regional Jewish Diversity Collaborative. We offer these sessions at no cost to you, but if you find value in what we're doing, please consider 2 donations today. The first one to Niv Harot to support Esty's incredible work, and the other to Illuminate. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you soon and wish you a Shana Tova and Chag Sameach.
Thank you.